Hi everyone, Rach here from Rah Stitching Realm. Welcome to Quilty Tube number, I'll put it on the screen, 4? I don't know, I forgot to look. Oh well. Welcome everybody, hello to new subscribers. Thank you to everyone who commented on the last video. Lots of very interesting things to read, and I will start with that. My hair is annoying me. So if you watched last video, you know that I had some problems with a block that should have been 12.5 inches square, but one side was coming in at 12 inches. So a lot of people talked about seam allowance, so as well as some issues to some advice to solve the issues with that block, which I'll get to. What I did was finish the block with the seam allowance, or the way the needle was, not the block, finished, spoiler, oh, okay, finished the quilt top with the seam allowance and the needle the way it was, so that was all consistent. And what I then played with afterwards was the placement of the needle. So on my machine I can have it in the center, or I can have it my right, your right, to the right. And so I did a couple of little sample things, not ironed or anything like that. I don't need to show that again really. So I did the center line and the right side line, and then I measured, and the right side line, which is the smaller one, is bang on, if just a smidge under 1/4 of an inch, whereas the center line is, I wouldn't say it's as far as 5/8 of an inch, but it's definitely over the 1/4 of an inch line. So, and a lot of people said last time you want a scant 1/4 of an inch. So I have moved the needle to the right, and we'll see how that goes. I haven't yet done a block that I need to square up and check the sizing of, so we'll see how we go. Since I've done the spoiler alert, let's do that. I will move those things out of the way and hope I don't drop them on the floor. So I was working on, in the last video, the jelly roll Sizzle. So that's the fat quarter shot pattern with Pat Sloan's additional border. And a lot of people gave me a lot of really good ideas, but it's interesting, as I was editing the video, another idea came into my head, and I thought maybe that's the way to go, which was to take out a seam and then trim up the sides to 12 inches, which would match the height, and then resew and carry on. Because I couldn't take a slice off one side because I had the pinwheels. So that's what I did, and a couple of people also suggested that. So I will show you my quilt top, and I also insert a video or a photo, maybe both, we'll see. So I finished a quilt top. I have never made anything this big, and you're certainly in this position not going to see much, but I'll show you what I can show you. So I can't see what you're seeing. Maybe what I should do is do it like this. How does Kimberly Jolly show the quilts? And just pull it up. So there's a corner. So I used Hustle and Bustle jelly roll and grunge for the pinwheels and the border and the binding when it gets done. So if you can see, it's probably easier for me just to insert, which I will in a minute. So this is just half of it, so I will just put it down there. So I'll insert a quick video that I did of it lying on the floor, followed by a photo of it being held up. To look closely, you will see some pinwheels are not brilliant. Oh, it's out of the way. But if you remember that little mat I made where the pinwheels are horrendous, none of them are like that. Some of them just don't, the points are not brilliant. But that's very few. Like, I'm really surprised at how well some of these pinwheels have worked. If I can find one quickly. I probably can't. See, that one's worked out really well. You know, I took my time at pinning the corners and everything to try and make sure I got it right. So, and you know, it's a smidge out in some places and it will just get lost in the whole thing, and I'm not stressing about it because, you know, it's a learning curve. So I have finished a quilt top. I can't tell you what it measures. I probably could give you a ballpark actually. I've just put this out of reach and you can see all the crap behind me now. Supposedly with the border it should come in at 48 by 48, but bearing in mind that I had to trim it down, it's probably a little bit less than that. So there we go. The other thing that I wanted to do this month was do a trial template's not the right word, a couple of trial blocks for the plus sign quilt I want to make, because I had seen Carol Saltbox Stitches quilt behind her which looked like they were smaller than the 5-inch charm squares I was going to use. So I have rustled that up. I remembered I brought a fat quarter bundle 2 or 3 years ago here. I spied it in the shop and I really liked the colours of it, neatly folded in its thing, but when I opened it out, some of it was like, oh, I don't know what I've done here. I think it was in a sale and I just like, oh, fabric, I might make a project bag, and I did. In fact this is my first ever project bag, which is way too big. This is the fabric. Some of it's actually quite nice fabric, so I just store all my excess bags of DMC in there. But anyway, so what I have done is let's put it up the right way, which is the right way. So this is a 5, using, you know, a charm square that has not been cut down, so they'll be about 4.5 each, give or take. So that's the first size, and then I trimmed it down to 3.5, I think, so that the squares would come out at 3, and that is the other size, which annoyingly I favour, but it's an extra step. So I'm just going to put these up on trouser hangers and hang them up. I've got a cupboard behind the camera here, and just stare at them for a while and try and imagine what would look better, the bigger size or the smaller size. I just don't know at this point in time. So I don't want to regret it. I don't want to cut these down and regret it. I don't want to start making this and have to undo it and regret it, or abandon the whole project. So that is that. What else have I got? I've got a little bit of haul that finally arrived this week after sitting in Auckland for 10 days, and I discovered it was because customs went through it. I hope they like looking at my stuff. So the first thing I got is a jolly bar, and this is the Stitch jolly bar. And I've just gone and dropped the whole reason why I brought it. So I was watching, a fat quarter shop floss tube, no, Quilty Tube, and in the background she had a quilt that I was like, oh, I really like the look of that quilt, and someone, hold please, I'll be back momentarily. Washing machine. Right, where was I before I was rudely interrupted by an imbalanced washing machine? Yes, so I was watching a Quilty Tube, a floss tube, blimey, a fat quarter shop quilt video, and she had a quilt behind her, and someone asked her what the pattern was, and so she said it's a pattern that only comes in a jolly bar, which is the stitch jolly bar, and this is the pattern. It's called Simple Stitch Quilt Pattern, and I was really quite taken by it. My plan is to not use the stitch. Oh gosh, now the battery's going on the camera. My plan is to actually use A Beautiful Day. So in order to work with that, I then also ordered some extra, and you're not really going to be able to see this, I don't think. Will it show up? Because I haven't taken it out of the fabric, the bag. This is the little leaf white on white fabric from the Beautiful Day collection as the background. So and then I've got binding and I've got backing already, because when I brought this I came prepared, sort of thing. So that's what I want to use this for, and I will just put the stitch fabric in the stash. I also ordered this. I am thinking of doing this, but what I'm thinking of doing it with, is that focused, is, oh thank you, these two boxes that, you know, I showed you last time, the two flea market quilts kits I brought. I'm hoping, and I haven't looked yet because I only just got this a couple of days ago, there's enough background. This uses quite a bit of background, and I know in the bigger quilt kit there's quite a lot of background, plus there is some in the smaller quilt kit. I reckon this calls for yardage, I think fat quarters or something like that, but I've been sort of figuring it out by looking at the squares. I've got 1 layer cake and 4 charm packs, and I think I only need something like 1 piece of layer cake and 2 charm squares per block. So I think coloured fabric wise I've got plenty. It's the background, whether I've got enough, and also whether I like that background, because if you remember, and I'm not going to haul it out, it's that cartoony pale blue on white look. I don't think I can show you it easily, no. So I may not like that look. I'm going to ask some questions in the Fat Quarter Shop Facebook group and just get some opinions, whether I need to just get some other white background, which I can do here. I don't need to order. It won't be a Laurie Holt background, but I could just get some white here, so we'll just see. The other thing I'm not 100% sold on is these diamond borders. I may do something about that, I don't know. So done that. So with thinking about doing that in mind, I ordered a 12 by 12, no, 12.5 by 12.5 ruler, so I can square my blocks. And at the moment I am just, when I'm ordering something decent size, I'm just adding in another design board. So I think I've now got 3 this size, and I probably will get another 2 or 3 more, and then I won't worry about it. It's kind of cheaper for me to order them than buy all the stuff that I need, because I don't have a glue gun or anything like that, so the initial outlay to buy all the products to actually make one myself is just as much probably as ordering some. So that is that. Okay, so I'm gonna, apologies, camera battery died, literally died. I've usually managed to get to the end with the flashing light. I've never had it die on me. I only have one, so that's a lesson. I need another battery. Okay, I think I was about to talk about my plans. Before I do that, I'll just say I hope that I've managed to edit this smoothly. I apologise if I haven't. I'll have to probably trim a little bit at the end. Depends on how it looks. I don't know. Anyway, hopefully it'll be a smooth edit. Anyway, okay, I won't tempt fate. Let's just get on with it. So what I'm going to do in June, what am I going to do in June? So I think that I might look to try and do that Beautiful Day quilt top that I just got the chart for. I'll also investigate whether I have got enough background for the granny square quilt along. And if what I've got, I should have taken it out while the battery was charging a little bit, if that background I've got is going to be okay, or whether, you know, considered opinion is it's a bit much. Since you're all so good at this sort of thing, I'll show you it again just to remind you. This is the background. So dropping things, where's the book? Is this background going to be too busy for this, is what I'm concerned about. I don't yeah, anyway, so that is my dilemma. I would need to sort that out and possibly make a start on cutting up all those 2.5 inch squares. I will stare at my 2+ sign blocks and decide finally what I'm going to do, and also read some of the blogs that I had got the original information from, so just see what sizing they had used. I know one has used a Chum pack size 5 inch square, so we'll just see. I don't know, I just don't want to regret doing it, that's all. Yeah, and maybe once I've made that decision, actually have a couple of blocks made. I'm kind of thinking I'm going to work in a 9 patch and then join as a row and then go along like that. I don't really know the right sequence unless one of these blogs tells me, but yeah, so you know, we'll just see what we can do. I might also, I've been given the phone number for a long arm quilter in a nearby town, not in my town, at one of the quilt shops I popped in yesterday for some DMC, and I was showing her, because she helped me pick out the grunge, and I showed her a photo of the completed quilt, which is what you will have seen, hopefully, if I've edited well. And I said, you know, do you know offhand how much something like this, you know, say a single bed, or I think in America you call them a twin bed, a single bed size quilt, she reckons, depending on how complex the quilting pattern is in a ballpark $150 New Zealand. So halve that for US dollars, pounds, give or take, just a ballpark figure. So this is a smaller size than a queen size, I mean a single size quilt top, so yeah, we'll see. I might get that sent off and done. It might not be back by the end of June, because I might not do it for a couple of weeks yet. I don't know how long it will take. I've also got to sort the backing out. I've got the fabric, I just need to piece it properly, and I haven't watched enough videos on that yet, so I'm sure it's just a case of snipping and sewing, but just got to be sure. So that is my lot. I won't tempt fate too much longer. I think if you are all quilting along with various things, are you doing any quilt alongs? The other thing that I've got, you won't probably see much of it for another couple of months yet. I have signed up for the designer mystery, I don't remember what the actual phrase is. through the Fat Quarter shop. It's the Nantucket Summer. So I've just had an email about that, so I would expect my first arrival in July, maybe early August, because of how long it'll take to get to me. I will always be the last person on that one, probably. I don't think there's anyone further away than me. So anyway, I'm waffling. Have a good month quilting if that's what you're doing. If you are one of my Floss Tube viewers and you're just watching this, have a good month stitching. And I will see you, Floss Tube viewers, in 2 weeks, and you quilting viewers in about a month's time. Alright, take care everyone. Bye for now.